Nano Banana Pro is
So yeah, we are literally living through history, people, and welcome back to Block Desk News, where we discuss investments and current world news and how you can use current world news for your investments in crypto and stocks, and also now in TCG and collectibles. So let's get right into it. Basically, today is day 5 of an actual war involving the United States. Not a skirmish, not a proxy conflict anymore. We are getting
now
into
on.
some serious territory, and it's a declared military operation involving US forces, US warships, US service members, which are being killed, and missiles raining down on some of the most important financial cities in the world. And what I want to do today is break it down exactly what's happening right now as of today, and most importantly, what this means for your money and your investments. So what has happened since we last spoke last Thursday? And a lot of updates have been here. What's up, everyone? What's up, 35? Good to see everybody back who is here at the moment. What's up, Stels? What's up, Giro? Glad to see everybody. So on February the 28th, the US and Israel launched a coordinated joint strike on Iran, condemned Operation Epic Fury by the US and Operation Roaring Lion by Israel. The strikes target Tehran, Isfahan, Qom, Karaj, and Kermanshah. Supreme Leader Ayatollah was assassinated on day 1. This is not a joke. This is potentially the start of World War III. And this is potentially the time when, gold and silver, which we will discuss today, is probably your best investments. So Iran's retaliation is called Operation True Promise 4, the 4th in the series of escalated responses. You guys have been seeing this. In Dubai, they were bombing. In Dubai, who would have thought this would happen? As you can see on this photo here. They fired drones and ballistic missiles at every US military base in the neighborhood: Kuwait, UAE, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq. The Natanz nuclear facility was also struck, through Iranian media says no radioactive leakage. So that's good for the people that's living around that area. Here is what stands as of today, March the 5th, which is day 5 of this special military operation. You guys know. What's up, Ali? You guys know these special military operations. Russia started it. It thought it's going to last 3 months. And how long has it been? 3 years now? Absolutely ridiculous. So Iran has now launched more than 500 ballistic missiles, 2,000 drones in retaliation. That's a staggering amount, really. But here's the thing. The volume of Iran's launches has dropped by 86% for missiles and 73% for drones since day 1. So they're burning through it really fast. Iran doesn't really have the firepower as everybody else, and this is obviously a big issue for them. A lot of skeptics are saying this won't be a long war and operation, but because China and because Russia is behind Iran, this could extend way further, and this is why it's important to keep an eye on this, especially if you have any stocks, if you have any investments into crypto. This is a really important time, and we will have a crypto segment also, so don't worry about that. A US submarine sank Iranian warship off the coast of Sri Lanka. I think this was the first time they used a missile like this since World War II. So we're seeing stuff which was only used in World War II being used right now. It was intercepted by Iran missile targeting a member country. Turkey is not even directly involved, and missiles are already reaching their airspace. Absolutely ridiculous. It's scary times to be alive at the moment. The US has now closed embassies in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Lebanon after several of them were hit. So Iran is actually being really direct with their strikes. They're not really like going out and destroying humans. They're attacking these bases, which is pretty crazy to think of. Maybe they are a bit more advanced than we thought. A CIA station in Saudi Arabia was struck. Al Udein Air Base in Qatar, and largest US base in the entire Middle East, was also targeted. Non-emergency US government personnel across the entire region have been ordered to leave. So, man, yeah, it's going crazy at the moment. The death toll stands around 1,000 Iranians, dozens in Lebanon, 10 in Israel, and 6 U.S. service members confirmed, 4 in a drone strike in port of Kuwait. So even the Iron Dome in Israel is no longer the safest place to be. And as of this morning, Defense Secretary Hegseth is standing at the Pentagon saying America is winning. So America is going full out. In my opinion, this might be do something to do with the Epstein files. I don't want to speculate too much, but Trump is involved in a lot of it, and of course, this is once again all speculation. I'm not sure, but maybe a big part of this, America first, Epstein files, big distractions, money going digital. Digital IDs is absolutely insane. Was it Israel that launched the missiles to Turkey via airspace? Good question, mate. I don't really know. Did they launch directly missiles to Turkey? I'm not really sure about that. Do check it out. Let me know because I don't have that written in my notes. So Trump said that the operation will take 4 to 5 weeks, and as you know, you can extend that. You can always extend that, right? Senate Republicans just voted down on the resolution that would have required Congress approval for the war. So China and the world at the moment, China's foreign minister Wang Yi has now sent a special envoy to the Middle East for mediation. Beijing officially supports Iran. So this is what you need to understand. China supports Iran and America, it does not. And that is literally the worst case scenario for all of us. China versus America is, yeah, the timing is a coincidence, mate. Tell me about it. It's just, everything is just happening at once, and I'm against war personally. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm not the biggest fan. But either way, Beijing officially supports Iran, as I said, sovereign, and wants military operations to be stopped immediately. That is a diplomatic line in the sand, as they are saying. So Canada's PM Mark Carney said today he cannot rule out Canada military involvement in the conflict spreads more broadly. Australian PM echoed sentiment. This is no longer a bilateral US-Israel versus Iran situation. This is going global. So let's look at the markets. This is the key point here because, look, a war is a money machine. We all know this. War makes money and is one of the best times to make money. So gold has surged 2.7% to $5,418 an ounce in the opening days. It has already recorded its first ever full week above 5,000 before the war started. Oil spikes, and this is the key here, guys. Oil prices, they're going to spike. We're going to potentially see over $75 per barrel. So oil spiked as high as 13% at one point. Europe's natural gas futures posted the biggest single-day gain since 2022. Qatar Energy halted LNG products after an Iranian strike on RAS Rafah, one of the world's largest LNG facilities. I know, yeah, it is World War III. Tell me about it. I know right now in Asia, for example, in Thailand, they're saying they've only got 2-month reserve for gas for cars. There's literally queues already right now as we speak of cars queuing up just to get their last bit of gas, and they're limiting it to like a full tank per person. This is no joke. Brent crude is spiking. Yeah, exactly. Crude oil is spiking already. Here are the fascinating things about stocks though. US markets have mostly shrugged it off. So the effect on the stock market hasn't really been that much. And the Dow closed on Monday around 73 points after being down nearly 600 earlier. S&P and Nasdaq actually turned green. Meanwhile, Japan Nikkei dropped 3%. Germany's DAX fell 3.4%. International markets are far more exposed than the US markets. And you ask yourself, why? Why hasn't the actual stock market been as affected by all this craziness? Well, because Wall Street was expecting this. The warship, we discussed this. The warships were there next to Iran for a little while. So the stocks have already, yeah, Trump is doing a terrible job, honestly. Like I don't even know how to say it nicely. Yeah, so the stock market, they were ready, guys. They were prepared for this. That's why you're not seeing a big shift in stock. You're seeing like every war is going to increase the price of gold and silver straight away. We all know this, right? But crypto and the stock market isn't really seeing that much of an effect. So the US military buildup in the region had the largest since 2003 Iraq invasion. So markets have already priced in some probability of conflict. And historically, the S&P 500 averaged a 3.4 gain in the 6 months after a major geopolitical shock. And we're already seeing this. The people who are investing in the stock market are much more wiser than they were in 2003. And this is what really blows my mind. JP Morgan has now raised its gold price target to 6,300 per ounce by December 2026. That's the crazy part, guys. Gold is going to be going up a lot, and that's almost a guarantee. And if JP Morgan are saying their prediction is to 2026 December, this means this conflict is very likely to last longer than they are saying on the news initially. Keep that in mind. This is really important. JP Morgan obviously knows something we don't, and it's obviously something the news don't. But if you got predictions like this, and then you got the news saying something else, who are you going to trust? The predictions or the news? You never trust the news, except us at Block This News. You can trust us here. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, was on CNBC warning to expect cyber attacks and terrorist attacks globally as a consequence. He specifically said banks could be targets. And especially now with AI, guys, this is going to be the first wave of the war. Real cyber attacks from China, from the US, from Russia. This is how you destroy power grids. This is how you destroy centers. This is how you destroy communications. And then you do the physical attacks. So yeah, be prepared, guys. This is not a laughing matter. This might not blow over like the Russia-Ukraine war, where it settles down and there's less action, blah blah blah. This can be an escalating effect, and this could even lead into China attacking Taiwan while tensions rise. So what does this mean for you? Here's my honest breakdown. This is what I personally think. The playbook right now is gold and precious metals are the clear winner. Every war, every time, this is the clearest winner. They were already at an all-time high, and this conflict just poured rocket fuel on the fire. Energy stocks, Exxon, Chevron, Shell, are loving $80+ oil barrels. Energy stocks, defense stocks, sorry, Lockheed, Norton, RTX are running. Airlines, tourism are getting crushed. So if you're investing into airlines and tourism, anything as such, right now you should be selling, because it will be going down more in the coming weeks. Oxford Economics view, and I agree with this, is that oil, gold, energy stocks, and defense spike, but you should sell extreme moves because they will fade once this ends. So potentially, because right now, I just heard this morning that the new leader of Iran will be the son of the leader that just got killed. So their stance isn't going to change. It's not going to be a Venezuela 2.0. I think centralized systems in the world, monetary systems will suffer. Maybe this is a big in disguise for decentralization, a blessing in disguise. I agree. Decentralization will be key. Just so you know, in Iran right now, the amount of Bitcoin that's being circulated through the country, the amount of Bitcoin that's being bought by the Iranian people has increased tenfold. So you're absolutely right. The currency has completely dropped, but the Bitcoin purchase has increased incredibly. So when it comes to decentralized currency, this is why China is banning decentralized currency right now. I'm sure you guys have seen this in the news. Because if there's any issue like this and people don't have to use these centralized currencies made by governments, they can move to Bitcoin, and then the government will fall and have no control over the people. Yes, crypto will suffer, of course, because crypto isn't really like gold or silver as of yet. but it will be utilized more, right? So it won't die. That's the best way I think we can look at it. Crypto will not die during these conflicts. It will be much more utilized, but of course it will be hurt, especially when it comes to the prices. The wild card risk is the Strait of Hormuz stays closed for for more than a month. So the Hormuz is basically the little patch of river which has been closed leading into Iran, and Iran has around 20% of the world's oil, just so you guys know. So that oil goes through ships and it goes into China, it goes into all the partnered countries, right? Even into Russia sometimes. So that being closed at the moment is one of the biggest things that we should be looking out for. So that when this goes from a region war to a global war, inflation crisis. For now, the bet that it doesn't. Like, we hope that it doesn't, basically. So moving on into the crypto world, and of course, this is what the channel started off, and let's talk about Bitcoin actually and what it did during all of this, because the answer is not what I was expecting at all, and I think a lot of people weren't either. When the strikes this Saturday happened, Bitcoin fell to 73,000 in the initial panic. That's standard. That's understandable, right? But by Tuesday morning, it had recovered to $71,000. That drop and recovery happened faster than almost anyone predicted for an asset that's been struggling all year. And Bitcoin has had the biggest struggle all year. And then it drops and then it rises so quickly. And this is what I was talking about when I was talking about the stock segment. It's that all these markets have already been sort of pre-predicted. People were ready for this. The people who are trading stocks and crypto now are much different. It's the same people, but their minds work differently. They pre-plan, they pre-invest. So the market game is changing every day, and especially with all of this going on. That drop, yeah. So inside the Iran blockchain and analytic firm, Chain Analysis tracked $10.3 million. This is what I was talking about in outflow from Iran crypto exchanges between February 28th and March the 2nd. That's literally since the last video that I did, with hourly volume spiking to nearly $2 million right after the strikes. It might not seem a lot to Americans, but for Iran, this is massive. Iranians are moving to crypto as their rial collapses and banks restrict cash withdrawals. This is exactly what I'm saying. This is why China is banning crypto. It's making it completely illegal. Because of this, when there's war, when there's a crisis, people stop using banks. People move into crypto. And here is the debate that most people are having, even you guys are mentioning it right now, is basically, is Bitcoin digital gold or is it a 24-hour settlement layer? And this, at the moment, it's not really digital gold in this time of conflict. It's a settlement layer. And that's why I said it's never going to die. So what happened over the weekend actually supports the settlement layer argument. As we just said, when equities were closed to FX markets were thin, crypto was still open. People were rebalancing, they were hedging and moving collateral through it because it never sleeps. Crypto never dies, it can't be stopped, right? So before the war, Bitcoin had already been beaten up badly. It's not been a good time for crypto, right? On-chain data from CryptoQuant showed short-term holders SOPR dropping below 1.0. This means that in recent buyers were selling at a loss just to exit, right? The short-term Sharpe ratio had gone negative. Around 80 million in long positions had been wiped out since Bitcoin fell from 70,000. Now, here is where it gets spicy for all of us. Arthur Hayes, BitMEX, the co-founder, is calling for Bitcoin to hit $500,000 to $750 million, right? By the end of 2026. So, like, and I read into this and I was just like, this is just insane, really. Basically, a prolonged U.S. military conflict puts severe pressure on federal finances, forces the Fed into loose monetary policy, and that liquidity tsunami sends Bitcoin into a new cycle. the BitMEX founder Arthur Hayes, he got his 200K by March 2026 call specifically wrong. Bitcoin sitting around 71, not 200,000, but his macro framework is worth understanding. So yeah, it does have scarcity, you're right. But yeah, it's hard to tell. I'm not one to do Bitcoin predictions. I'm more of an altcoin individual. So I run a VC firm and we invest in startups. I'm pretty good at doing that. When it comes to the macro side of Bitcoin, I look at the news more, and that's what we're discussing now, and that really helps. So like we're discussing now, Bitcoin is becoming a settlement layer for war affected countries. It's no longer at this current moment the gold standard or the digital gold, but institutions are locking up and buying all of it, buying up as much ETH and Bitcoin as they can while this war rages on. So what does this mean for you? Is liquidity gone? Well, it's not completely gone, but it's selective. Liquidity is extremely selective. Crypto futures open interest dropped to 93.78 billion, but held above the recent low 92.4 billion. So the market is not in a free fall. Keep that in mind. It's not free falling in the moment. But yeah, so the market is not in free fall, but it's in a tense holding. So it's not even consolidating; it's just holding on to its dear life. So funding rates have gone slightly negative, meaning the bias is bearish, but not panicking. I wanna like underline this. So what you need to look out for: watch 65,000, 66,000 as your line in the sand for Bitcoin. 65,000 is really that number where you need to panic if it drops below that. If it breaks and holds below, we could see a flush towards 60,000 very easily. 65 to 60,000 will be a massive drop and very quickly, very likely to happen. Well, this is what I'm saying. The market has reacted to the war extremely different. And my opinion is because of the traders and the investors. They're not the same people as they used to be before. So yeah, if it holds and the war shows signs of resolution, the recovery trade will kickstart basically, and smart money is not exiting crypto right now. They're waiting basically. And yeah, mate, the war is crazy. I'd love to hear everyone's opinions, but right now we are in a waiting phase. I hope this war ends. I don't want no more deaths. I hate all of this, but with these special military operations, they do last a bit longer than you can want them to. And we will update you every week because every hour there's something new. So do follow us and subscribe, because every Thursday we are live at 1 p.m. UTC. And we're here to deliver you the news. And I want to move on to probably my favorite segment at the moment. Let me read this. Liquidity will return. I read MicroStrategy keeps buying. They did. MicroStrategy just bought a big amount. BlackRock are convincing XRP trajectory. Yeah, so XRP, I've been saying this for a couple of weeks. XRP is something I always hated, but it's looking like something I'm going to start holding. I've already started buying a bit every week, really small amounts, but XRP, I think they're signing some deals with the US government and some banks, so they might be a dark horse in this bull run. But yeah, let's move on to some lighter news. Into the where this is where the liquidity is basically moving. It's moving away. Yeah, Michael Saylor also bought. I agree. Liquidity is moving into the TCG market. All the crypto bros are starting to buy Pokemon. They're starting to buy One Piece, and now, as of this week, everybody is looking into Dragon Ball Z. So let's shift gears completely and talk about TCG basically, because even with everything going on in the world right now, the card market does not look like it's stopping. And right now, there are very clear signals about where the scalpers, so this is the people who buy MSRP price and then sell it to the people. You see them in the shops, in GameStop and Walmart, etc., just loading up all the packs and then leaving, right? And that's where the smart money is moving. So Dragon Ball Z Fusion World FB09. I always like to bring you the sets which are good investment pieces, and this is the one we discussed it a couple of weeks ago, and it's launching March the 14th. Dragon Ball Super Card Game Fusion World is dropping 3 new products in March 13th. 2 starter decks. Do not buy them. Starter decks are not a good investment. But also they're launching this. They're launching Dual Evolution Booster packs and boxes, as you can see over here. And they have these new mechanics. Fusion Evolve, where a stack of cards are on top of 2 specific battle cards or equal power. A second new mechanic that dramatically changes the flow of battle. The reason I'm saying these mechanics, every time there's a new mechanic, that first set becomes quite valuable. And this new mechanic is going to be very important. And I believe there's some other new things coming in with this set. FB09, oh yes, this is it. Also marks the 2nd anniversary of the Fusion World format, making it a symbolic release in Bandai. And Bandai themselves have clearly invested heavily into this set and the marketing of it. This is their version of a milestone set. You can pre-order these at the moment. I think 40 Canadian dollars is just 1 pack. These will be the cards that you're looking for. I'm going to send you guys in the live chat some of these links. I think it's worth for you to check it out if you want. Here you go, guys. Yeah, have a look at what I am talking about at the moment. So why are scalpers basically flipping and paying attention here? Because Fusion World is still in its growing phase. So this is really important. What you guys saw happen with One Piece. This is happening with Dragon Ball Z right now. People want to, because One Piece is too expensive. And One Piece, you should be investing into anniversary sets and into promo sets. So one of my biggest videos was me talking about OP17, which is a set coming in September for One Piece. That's a set you should look out for. And I've had hundreds of messages and people asking where you can pre-order. Since I spoke about it 2 weeks ago, it's already sold out. So this is why it's important to keep update with these videos. Watch me live, because when I talk about it live, after a couple of days, it's all gone, right? So this is the good time for you to look in Dragon Ball Z, because the hype isn't really there, but scalpers are moving slowly into here. So Pokemon money that burned people in a speculative bubble has been looking for a new home, basically. FB09 has both collector appeal. The Gogeta GT is the elite art and competitive appeal. So cards value is determined by 2 things, guys. This is really important for you to know. It's about scarcity. So how hard is it to pull the card from the pack? But it's also how playable is the card. So a good way for you to really, if you want to go deep into investing TCG, if you look out for the tournaments and the decks and the cards the tournament players are using, and the card that wins the tournaments that's used the most, that value will increase as well. So that's basically double demand. It's an example setup that drives secondary market prices at launch. So mark your calendars for March 14th and watch the sealed prices of boxes closely for the 48 hours. I am almost certain it's going to increase, and I think it's pretty easy to pre-order these. You can go to your local TCG shop. It should be available. It's not as difficult as to find as the One Piece. Moving into Pokemon. Now, this market has been cooling off, and it's been like a deliberate pause, I would say. And here's why. And it's literally the right time, because Perfect Order drops on March 27th. The new set is Mega Evolution Series, featuring Mega Zygarde. It's debuting in the TCG. This will give the market a short-term spike, but it's not the event everyone's waiting for. So do not buy the next set. Do not buy the next set in Pokemon. The first genuine 30th anniversary product is actually the first partner illustration collection series 1. So this is Perfect Order coming up next. Do not buy this set. This will not be good. This is the one. So this is coming March the 20th. Do not buy this set also. This set is not a good investment piece. This is not the one, not the 30th anniversary big set that you should buy to invest. So that's the first basically genuine 30th anniversary product. Is the first partner illustration collector series 1, releasing March the 20th. It features special illustration promos for Kantos, Sinnohs, and Alola starter Pokemon. An illustration-focused collector product designed for longtime fans. So this is what I'm saying. Don't buy this. Don't listen to this. This is the big one. During Pokemon presentation on February the 27th, and this is images I'm showing you right now from that celebration. The Pokemon Company confirmed the special 30th anniversary set releasing simultaneously across the entire world in October. Remember that month, September and October. September is for One Piece 17. October is for Pokemon. It's going to be launched globally at the same time for the first time ever in this TCG. The teaser showed reprints, as you can see on my screen now, of iconic cards including Shadowless, Charizard, and Crystal Lugia and Aquapolis. Mew and Mewtwo appear to sport an opalescent sheen, hinting on a brand new card mechanic or rarity. And I'm going to show you now, as you can see, the Mew and the Mewtwo. This is going to be in the 30th anniversary set, very likely. And most likely it's going to be a new card rarity. And the first new card rarity is going to be a very good collectible piece. So for October, this is what you need to be looking out for. They're very likely going to be using these like reprints and new style reprints of these Pokemon. The set will bring back multiple mechanics, GX cards, and V Pokemon. So this is the strategy, guys. No, it's all about investment, right? You're watching the 25th anniversary celebration book play out. So on the 25th of anniversary 5 years ago, this happened also. And people who bought the celebration boxes at MSRP and held them for only 6 months made extremely serious money. I'm not joking. You buy this at MSRP and you hold it for 6 months, you will make money. So the October global drop is the biggest TCG event of 2026, more bigger than One Piece, more bigger than Dragon Ball Z. This will be massive. Even if you don't like Pokemon, the money and the liquidity there is higher than anything you'll ever see. So you don't need to collect this. It's about holding it for around 6 months and then reselling it. Moving on to One Piece, obviously many of you do like it. The OP15 dropped in Japan on February the 28th, right in the middle of the war news. So this is a set I said don't really buy. As you guys can see, the manga rare over here. I still don't think, so this is the price. So the manga rare is 130 buyback price, 135,000 yen. If you're lucky. So let's try yen to USD. How much would that be? So around $850 for the top pool in the set, which is not very good, guys. It is not very good. By the way, if you want to chat in the amazing chat, you can subscribe and then you'll be able to write a message. Anyone can do. So this set has dropped. It's the Skypiea set. So each English booster box will include a bonus pack with 1 card selected from 6 exclusive EB04 Magna Rare designs. So if you are going to buy this, I would recommend buying the English set. So that bonus pack is genuine value and it's a smart money play. So if you're deciding to invest into the OP15 set, buy the English one. That's my best advice. So the broader One Piece TCG market has been one of the more resilient corners of the hobby. So the manga rare cards are still up 7.4%, but they're so hard to pull. You need like, I think 2 or 3 cartons to pull one. And in each carton, there's 12 boxes. So it's extremely expensive to pull one of these, unless you're really lucky, right? One Piece singles have remained healthier than Pokemon speculation bubble. So the One Piece is still outperforming Pokemon, but it won't in the long term. Pokemon is, I would say, forever. How long has it been around? One Piece hasn't been around for that long. So my honest take on OP15, it's a beloved arc in the series, but it doesn't have the mainstream brand recognition and appeal that the OP17 set and the OP05 and the OP13 set will have. So that takes into maybe a better opportunity. Maybe the prices will fall. So right now, give it some time. Let's see what happens with this set. So the bigger picture, the liquidity isn't gone. There's more there's more liquidity in TCG than there's in crypto right now. Maybe I'm over exaggerating, but it's just getting smarter, right? The panic buying days of 2021 are over. Right now, smart money is moving into 3 places and it's positioning Dragon Ball Z FB09, the set I showed you today, right? Keep an eye out for that. It's launching on March 13th. People are accumulating Pokemon cards at MSRP, and October drop will show a lot. So October, December, September will be those 2 drops. So a quick heads up around everything. The war situation is generally moving by the hour. So Al Jazeera live blog is the fastest feed right now. So if you want to keep up, go to Al Jazeera. They're pretty good as a news source. Bitcoin crossed over 71,000 this morning, which is actually a stronger recovery than most expected. So you can frame the crypto segment. Basically, everything is together, right? But the TCG market seems to be the best investment right now. So gold and TCG is what you should be looking at. And that's it for this week. Hope you like my updates. Let's discuss Super DApp for a little bit. We are still building the bridge to move us into base. And we're also completing our grant proposals for the AI token launcher. And I'm really excited about this because we're going to be able to start launching tokens as a community. I'm going to launch SysSwap with all of you guys, and I'm going to give all of you a free airdrop of the token. This is going to be a complete community token. So anybody who's on my live videos, whenever I'm ready to do it, I'm going to do it live. So anyone who's here is going to get free tokens, and you're going to be able to play around with them, and hopefully we can actually start putting them onto the market. But for now, there's not really much updates. We've been focusing really, because it's a heavy workload in development, building a bridge from one chain to the other, especially with audits, and those take time. Because this is the issue, guys. If you're creating a bridge, we don't want no money going missing, and we can audit it ourselves, and we have a great team of developers, and we got a great team when it comes to, you know, the core team and Jag, who's always helping us. But the thing here is we also need third-party audits, right? And we need a different opinion. AI is helping us do that, especially with the new AI auditing, you know, tools that are available. But of course, you need a human touch. You know, AI is never going to be as good as a human. Well, hey, I'll catch my word. AI might be better than humans one day, but it is not yet. So we're focusing heavily on that. There's not any actual dev updates when it comes to the UI and stuff. But I did see that somebody has developed their own AI agent. And I saw this. I'm not sure. If you're in the chat at the moment, do let me know. I'm going to go over the agent. I haven't had time at the moment, but I will go over it, and I'm going to mention it next week. And if it's integrated, we will try to give you a small reward as well. Yeah, I do need to actually find this. So yeah, my apologies, guys. Next week, I'm going to find this. Whoever made the agent, send me a direct message and then show it off to me, because I do want to present it to the community and show off, basically show off your work and hopefully get you some more tokens so you can continue developing and integrating AI agents into Super DApp. But that's it for this week, guys. Look, as always, it's my pleasure to have everyone on board. We are growing quite a lot. As what's the time frame from the bridge? I'm hoping at the end of this month. I really am. We have liquidity plans. We have a liquidity program that we're going to be launching this week or next week, so you guys can actually get involved. And we already have everything set up. So I'm hoping this month. I don't want to say because I'm not the developer, but the developers are telling me this month. So fingers crossed. If not, it will. I can almost be sure it will be next month. So yeah, that's the best answer that I can give. So unless there's any more questions, guys, it's always a pleasure. I'm gonna send you love from myself, from Block Desk News, and of course from SuperDAP. And keep safe out there. If you got any questions, you can feel free to follow us on our socials in our description. We also got a new Telegram group where you can talk about everything that's going on. And of course on SuperDAP. And you can just comment down below under this video. But that's it for today. Guys, keep safe out there. Have a good weekend. Enjoy time with your friends and family. And much love from myself, Edward. All the best, guys. Bye-bye.